Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nothing better than a victory on game one, and the Mets have always dominated on opening day. The Mets beating the Miami Marlins 5-3, and we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Verlander, but that news was actually made a bit better by the DeGrom news. And we're also going to talk about some key facts about Game 1. Some things that I think stood out to me personally, and I'm pretty sure they stood out to you. And that I found very, very important to yesterday and to the season going forward. So please stay tuned, and we're going to get this video started. Okay, so first, let's get this out of the way. The bad, the ugly, but not so bad. So a couple hours before game time, of course, let's put a damper on opening day, and we get the Verlander news. So Verlander, he's going to be out with a supposed minor injury, a strain. I've never even heard about the strain, but I hear it's going to be minor. Verlander himself was very upset, but in his last pitching performance in spring training, he felt some soreness. He's had some imaging done, and it turns out he has a minor injury. So I don't want anybody to get too upset about that. It looks like Tyler McGill will take his spot in the rotation, and that's not a bad thing. Getting Tyler in there early in the season, getting him loose, getting him in the game time, I don't think is a bad thing. Tyler's got a lot of talent, so he's not a Verlander, but you know what? It's not a bad thing. Also, Justin Verlander said he's very upset, but we get this injury out early in the season. He feels he's going to be good to go shortly after this, so that's good news. But what also made me feel a bit better that Justin Verlander was supposed to be replacing Jacob DeGrom. Jacob DeGrom was facing Philly. Philly pummeled Jacob DeGrom. Jacob DeGrom gave up 5 runs, 6 hits, and 3 innings. He did strike out 7 batters, but Jake did horrible. Think about how Met fans would feel if we had Jacob DeGrom going in game 1 and he pulled out a stinker like that. We would be furious. We would be saying we should sign this guy to a long-term contract, and he pitches like this. So, Met fans, don't get upset. We have a good team. It looks like Verlander is only out for a short time. I know the injuries seem to be stacking up. You got Quintanilla, you have Edwin Diaz, and now you have Justin Verlander. But you know what? Let's look at the positive. So yesterday, early on, we were facing Sandy Alcantara. And Alcantara, as we know, is the reigning Cy Young Award winner. So he is a masterful pitcher, the best pitcher in the National League East. Actually, not East, the whole National League. What am I talking about? And one of the best pitchers in the entire major leagues. So what better to have a first challenge than against him? So the Mets, they had a good test coming. And my first indication that I said, you know what? The Mets are going to be great. They're going to do fine. Was actually when I saw the at-bat that Starling Marte put together. It was only the first inning, but he put together a 10-pitch at-bat. I believe he ended up grounding out to the shortstop. But I knew from right there it's going to be a long day. As the game progressed, Marte looked actually very, very good. And you could tell what type of lineup it is without Marte. Last year, when we lost him at the end of the year, it was just a completely different team. Marte was stealing bases in this game. He ended up having 2 hits. He walked. So he actually he had a dominating game, a dominating performance. So I was very, very happy with that. Another key thing that most Met fans probably were very excited and very happy about was when Omar Narvaez stepped up to the plate. Omar Narvaez, they were talking about how in the past he had good offensive seasons. Then he transitioned over to being a more defensive catcher because he had good pitchers in Milwaukee. And in Keith and Ron, they were talking about how hopefully he can mesh both defense and offense and have a really good season for the Mets. So right off the bat, Omar Narvaez was taking pitches, and I'm like, okay, he's looking pretty good. Then he gets a hit. Vogelbach goes from first to third, and I said, wow, this is his first at-bat with the New York Mets, and he already looks better than McCann, way better than McCann. So I like that. I really do like that. Then on the next at bat, Nimmo lined the ball oppo, and I'm like, you know what? It went right into I forgot who was playing left field, but it was lined right into the left fielder, and it was a sac fly. But Nimmo looked phenomenal on that at bat against Alcantara, and he had his first RBI of the game. He then went on to have a 2 RBI double to really cap off an amazing opening day for Brandon Nimmo. And that just goes to show you what kind of great signing that was. Brandon Nimmo is the type of player who's going to keep improving and improving. And I am so happy that we have a guy like that at the top of our lineup. And it is so important for the Mets to keep him healthy. Okay, so those were a couple keys. We had Starling Marte starting off with a 10-pitch at bat. We had Omar Narvaez at the end of the lineup looking a lot better than McCann. We have Brandon Nimmo looking like midseason form. That right there just shows me that the team is ready to rock and roll. Jeff McNeil in the middle of the lineup. Jeff actually had a phenomenal game as well. He had 2 hits, one RBI. He should have had 3 hits. Their first baseman made a diving stop. But Jeff McNeil, another guy, looked in mid-season form. So the Mets today, they came to play. Max Scherzer gave up 3 runs. He gave up a late home run. It was a 2-run homer, so he had 3 earned runs. But I think he did pretty well. He worked quickly. Forgot how many. Okay, he had 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, and gave up 3 earned runs, 4 hits. So in his first outing, I would say that he did pretty good. Of course, it would have been a lot better if he didn't give up that 2-run homer, but it is what it is. And I gotta say, the bullpen came on strong. Drew Smith came in. He pitched 1 inning. He had 2 strikeouts. Brooks Raley came in. He pitched 1 inning, had 2 strikeouts. David Robertson came in to close. He pitched 1 inning, had 2 strikeouts. So you had 6 strikeouts out of the total 9 outs that the bullpen got, and they just look phenomenal on game 1. So it's only 1 game, but you have to give them credit. They faced a very good pitcher, and they played well. So game 1 goes to our New York Mets. So it was a very good day. Verlander, we will be updated on his status. Please don't be down. That is not an injury to be down on. The Edwin Diaz is a different story, but the Justin Verlander injury, don't be down on. Just not yet. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Please tell me what your thoughts are about Game 1, what you think about Verlander, what you think about DeGrom. Those 3 topics are what we spoke about today. Those are my opinions, and I will speak to you soon. We have Game 2 coming up later on, and have yourself a great day, and let's go Mets as always.